Fish belong in the vast ocean, but many find themselves trapped in small tanks, leading to loneliness and suffering. These beautiful creatures need space and clean water to thrive, yet countless bettas live in cramped conditions, barely surviving. One particular betta fish, fighting for his life in a tiny cup, faced a desperate fate. His story of struggle and hope begins here. This is the journey of Arik, a betta fish who needed a second chance. On a regular shopping trip, a woman named Valerie from Charlotte strolled through a Walmart and passed by the pet section. Her gaze drifted over the fish tanks, but one small plastic container on a shelf grabbed her attention. Inside was a betta fish, and he looked miserable, floating weakly, his body barely holding together. This little guy wasn't in a proper tank with clean water or a filter, just a cramped cup that was barely big enough for him. No one seemed to care about his condition, and he was struggling to survive. Then, as she looked closer, Valerie saw just how bad his situation was. His once colorful fins were torn and faded, and his tiny body looked frail. He floated there, as if silently begging for someone to notice him. Valerie couldn't ignore his suffering. Her heart ached for the helpless creature. In that moment, she knew she couldn't leave him there alone, and she felt determined to make a difference. Without a second thought, Valerie grabbed the container, feeling a pang of sadness as she saw the fish's tail breaking apart in the murky water. She knew she couldn't just leave him there to suffer and die. Right then, she decided to take him home, hoping to give him a chance at recovery, even if it was a slim one. Valerie was deeply affected by what she had seen. The fish's condition and the cramped, harsh living space weighed on her heart. When she later spoke to the animal interest site, The Dodo, she recalled, "I felt incredibly sad for the little guy and decided that I didn't want him to die in there, just rotting away." She admitted she was 95% sure he was going to die that night, but she was determined to do what she could. At the very least, she wanted to make his last hours as comfortable as possible. Once home, Valerie gently placed the fish into a larger, clean tank filled with fresh water. She added warmth, a few drops of medicine, and a lot of hope. To her amazement, her little friend didn't just float quietly like before. He actually began to move, exploring his new surroundings. Valerie's heart lifted as she realized he might have a chance to survive after all. Determined to help him get better, Valerie threw herself into researching everything she could about caring for betta fish. She learned about the right water temperature, the best food, and the care he would need to fully recover. Every day, she carefully followed what she'd learned, giving him exactly what he needed. And within a week, the changes were incredible. His colors grew brighter, his fins started looking healthy again, and he swam with a new energy that filled Valerie with joy. Each day brought a bit more progress for Arik. Valerie watched with joy as he explored his new tank, slowly regaining the energy he had lost while trapped in that tiny cup. Her hard work was paying off, and soon he was not just surviving but thriving. She decided to give him a name that felt special: Arik. This little fish became more than just a pet. He was a friend who followed her shadow, leaped for food, and watched her curiously as she passed by his tank. But Valerie's experience with Arik also highlighted a bigger problem that many bettas face. Bettas, known as Siamese fighting fish, are often misunderstood. Because they are strong and can live in tough conditions, they are often kept in small, cramped containers, like the one Arik was found in. While bettas can survive in smaller spaces, it's not the best for them. Many people mistakenly think that bettas like small bowls or pots, but they actually thrive in larger, clean environments where they have plenty of room to swim and explore. The misconception about betta fish extends to water quality as well. Many people think that bettas can live happily in dirty or muddy water, but that is far from true. In their natural home in Southeast Asia, bettas might sometimes be found in shallow, murky water during the dry season, but this is due to their ability to survive tough conditions, not because they like it. In reality, poor water quality is a leading cause of sickness and death for bettas, both in the wild and when kept as pets. Sadly, Arik's story is not the only one. In the United States, betta fish are often sold in small containers at pet stores, where conditions can be very bad. Even big retailers like Walmart have faced backlash for how they care for fish. In 2014, a woman found tanks filled with dead fish in a Walmart in Kansas. The next year, another customer noticed a dying betta at a Walmart in Gainesville, Florida. Complaints from shoppers and animal welfare advocates began to spread, quickly making their way to social media. In 2016, an activist named Sharanya Prasad took a stand for fish welfare by starting a petition on the Care2 network. She wanted Walmart to improve the conditions for its live fish. Unfortunately, her efforts did not get the response she hoped for. In an interview with the Huffington Post, she expressed her disappointment, saying, "A lot of people don't think the same way about fish as they do about puppies and kittens, but they are sentient animals that feel pain." Her words captured the feelings of many animal lovers who believe fish should be treated with the same care as cats and dogs. Walmart, however, defended its practices. A spokesperson stated that they recognize their responsibility in caring for live fish. They claimed, "We have processes in our stores that allow for the proper care of all betta fish by our associates." The representative also urged customers to report any problems to store management, assuring them that, when we are made aware of such an issue, we take immediate action. Despite this, many people still feel that more needs to be done to ensure fish like Arik receive the proper care they deserve. Regardless of what the retailer said, Valerie's rescue of Arik was a special win. Her kind heart and hard work turned a dying fish into a healthy, happy friend. Valerie wants to share her story to help people understand how to care for bettas and other fish sold in pet stores. She believes that with just basic care and a proper setup, they are great little pets to have. By telling Arik's story, she hopes to inspire others to speak up for better treatment of these often overlooked animals. Now, a month after that shopping trip, Arik has completely changed. His fins are no longer sad and droopy. They flow beautifully as he swims around his tank. He has developed his own personality, enjoying his space and interacting with Valerie in his unique way. He's an amazing little fish. I love watching him swim around, leap for food, follow my shadow, and just be a cool little guy, Valerie said in her update to the dodo. Arik's journey from a neglected shelf to a loving home shows how one person's kindness can make a big difference. While not every fish will be as lucky as Arik, Valerie wants everyone to remember that all animals, no matter how small, deserve care and respect. She believes that everyone should be their voices and advocate for their needs. Valerie's love for Arik reminds us of the power of compassion and the joy that comes from helping others. That's all for today. Now, it's your turn to share your thoughts about this story. What's the next story you'd like to know? Let us know in the comments section below, and be sure to subscribe so you won't miss any of these amazing videos on The Wild Wonder.